Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2021 Breaking Point series, episode number 5 today, where we continue the 2021 season as Casper Ackerman. At the end of the last episode, Devin Butler decided to spread some rumours, and we'll see what effects those have in this coming episode. So let's get into it and see what this story has to offer next. With several laps remaining, Haas looks to be in a favourable position with both of its drivers in the points. Casper Ackerman continues to push forward, but his teammate Aiden Jackson is continuing to gain ground on him.
Casper Jackson is faster than you. We need you to let him pass. Do you copy, Casper? Let Jackson pass, please.
I don't understand.
You can have the place back if you can't pull away.
Is he landing quicker?
Yeah, he's behind you, Casper. Confirm you'll let him pass, please.
Look, he's not close enough.
Come on, Casper.
Alright, so here we go then. We need to try and hold back Aiden Jackson.
Casper, don't do this.
He's not faster.
This is a team order. Do you copy, Casper?
He's not faster.
We should have just unplugged the radio. But anyway, as we continue on then, we will try and hold Jackson behind us. This is probably my only criticism of the story, is that there was no option here to obey team orders, as I would have done in a my team race or whatever other career, but there was no option to do that.
You're in 8th place. Norris ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 2.4 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Aiden behind. The gap is less than a second. They're on fresh softs. Okay, gap to leader, 20.9 seconds. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. 5 laps till the end.
So you can see a bad exit there, and that's put Jackson right behind us, but we're not too far behind Norris ahead, so maybe we could catch him. But yeah, there's no kind of branching storylines, which would have been nice, if you did play the team game in this scenario. It'd be good if there was a different ending to this chapter. But anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, for now, that's really the only option we have, is to pass this and make sure we stay ahead of Jackson, which somehow we are managing to do, despite driving absolutely terribly. But we will continue on and see if we can hold this through the rest of the race. And that is exactly what we're going to do as we move on to the end. There was really nothing to show. We were just kind of driving around, and Jackson never really was that close. So now we come towards the finish line, where we will hold off Aiden Jackson. I'm sure he won't be happy.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
You've got to ask yourself just what's going on behind the scenes at Haas. This rivalry between the two drivers, it's not going away.
You wonder how many more points they're going to squander. I think Haas have got a real problem here that they need to deal with. I don't know how, but they've got to address it.
You think of what happened in Mexico last season. The two drivers took each other out of the race completely. How long before we see a repeat of that? As you so rightly say, Ant, something's clearly not right over there.
What was that? Hey!
Just leave it.
No! Just talk to me for once!
Just let go. Now back off!
Why do you have to be like this?
Oh, so I'm the problem!
You won't let me pass! You won't even talk to me!
You want respect, you give respect! That's how it works!
How about you give me a little respect?
How about you earn it first?
How am I supposed to do that? I'm all ears!
You give me space out there. What's your problem?
I'm trying to win.
Oh, and that makes you special?
You're a nightmare, Casper!
Fine. Well, you won't have to put up with me for much longer.
What's that supposed to mean?
I am sick and tired of all this. I'm done.
You're what?
I'm retiring.
Wait. What? Casper! 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 Wait. What? Casper! Casper!
The Canadian Grand Prix appeared to be the nadir of Ackerman and Jackson's relationship, with footage of the altercation going viral. Haas are hoping that both drivers can start to move past it over the course of the Austrian Grand Prix and prevent this season from ending in a similar fashion to their first one. Well, that's could have gone better. Definitely could have gone better. Honestly, I can see both sides of the whole thing there. Obviously, Ackerman not letting his teammate pass, not cool, but starting a whole fight about it, don't know if that was really worth it. But anyway, I thought that was a bit of an overreaction of of all the incidents in this in this series. I would imagine that maybe that argument would have been better suited to maybe the Mexico incident or something like that. But anyway, that is the way it is apparently. But anyway, let's continue this story and hope things get better in Austria. It can take decades of work to achieve that aged bonsai look. Have patience. Bonsai care. A poor start to the race finds Casper Ackerman sitting at the back of the field. With several laps remaining, the deployment of a safety car gives Ackerman the opportunity to pull back some much needed places.
Work to maintain tyre temperature, Casper?
Is the safety car for Aiden?
Aiden's had to come in. Now's a good time to catch up with the field.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So I don't know exactly how Ackerman ended up so far behind the train under the safety car, but our first target is to try and close back up to the safety car queue. He must have had more than a terrible start to this race for this to be possible. But anyway, yes, we are sitting at the back of the field with only Aiden Jackson behind us, who has had to retire the car, so it's unfortunate. But anyway, we will continue on and try and make something of this race. So let's catch up to the train.
Nice work, Casper. Push for 10th. See if you can salvage some points.
Yeah.
And so we get going once again, and we get the worst safety car restart in the history of Formula 1, but that doesn't matter because we're going to close up soon anyway with the field bunched up. And you can see we already gained time through the first corner. Not being behind the other cars has actually allowed us to carry some additional speed, and that might actually help us in the end as we have a look down the inside. The Alfa Romeo blocks us off, and we have to switch back to the outside line, see if we can carry the momentum, and we do just that and get ahead of Kimi Räikkönen. Next up is Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri, which is much slower than what I would have expected from AlphaTauri, but I believe the car performances are not realistic in Breaking Point. I think they've been changed around to make the story work depending on what team you join. But anyway, now on the back of the Alpine car down the inside and getting ahead of Esteban Ocon. Next up, Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo. Can we get down the inside of him? We're a long way back. We'll squeeze down the inside and we'll just about get through there and get ahead of Gio, running a little wide through the final corner, but already gaining significant ground. And we're going to continue to do that as we add up the inside of Pierre Gasly, and we'll just about squeeze through on the other AlphaTauri, running quite low in the field here.
We're in P14. Russell is ahead of you.
Next up then is George Russell as we have a look to the outside as we head towards the final few corners, and we're going to get through using the full extent of the track limits and then some, but it's fine, we can get away with that in Breaking Point, and we get through ahead of George Russell. We continue on then, and right on the back of Sebastian Vettel, believe it or not, had dinner between overtaking George Russell and overtaking Sebastian Vettel there, even though there was only one straight. But anyway, we're now trying to get up the inside of the Ferraris, very close wheel to wheel there, but we get through. No, we have a big old A lot of wheel spin and sliding on the exit, and we can't quite get the move done as we're getting a big squeeze now from Carlos Sainz, but we will get ahead of him, and now we'll get ahead of Charles Leclerc as well, as we're trying to fight side by side through turn 4, give him the room on the exit, and we will get that position anyway. Moving on again then, and we go for the move on Devin Butler into turn 1, run him a little bit wide and make that move. He actually gave us a surprising amount of space there, but now that's going to cost him as he's now fighting away and losing in position to Charles Leclerc. Meanwhile, we're closing up to the back and going around the outside, making the move and getting it done on the other Alpine of Fernando Alonso, and that gets us up and into 8th position. Next up is the other Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, so let's see if we can chase him down. And as we continue on, we do catch up to Lance Stroll, and we might get past him in exactly the same way we got past his teammate. Unfortunately, no one holding Lance Stroll up, and we don't quite get the momentum on the exit in quite the same way we did on Vettel, but we do get past Lance Stroll along the straight through turns 2, round the outside of turn 3, and we get the move done ahead of Lance
P7.
Stroll.
You've moved into P7.
And turn 1 is becoming a familiar sight because we catch up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo through turn 1, DRS open, but Ricciardo equally I think is getting the assistance from Lando Norris, and he's had some decent straight line speed. We go for the move up the inside anyway and get it done, and get ahead of the Australian and move ourselves up
Laps of fuel remaining.
and into 6th position. We move on now to the exit of the final corner, and we're on the back of Lando Norris, and we might be able to make a move into turn 1. This time he defends all the way to the inside. We go back to the outside line, try and take the racing line through turn 1 around the outside, and we'll get the move done on Lando Norris and move ourselves up and into 5th position. Next up, Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. I doubt we'll be catching him, but you never know.
To the car in front is 2.7 seconds.
He is not actually that far ahead, so we'll see if we can do it. So let's go. We move on then to the final lap, and we just didn't quite have enough. You can see throwing everything at it to try and close up to Sergio Perez, but we just couldn't quite get close enough, and he's going to hold on. This time, another lap or two, we may have got him, but there you have it. Verstappen is going to take the win here at the Red Bull Ring, and we're going to have a pretty exciting 5th place finish here at the Austrian Grand Prix.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Alrighty then.
Ackerman's done well to finish in the points there, in stark contrast to his Haas teammate Aiden Jackson, who didn't even finish.
Yeah, Jackson's looked off the pace all weekend. His performance just isn't where it should be. You can see the odd error creeping in on track too.
Well, if you believe the rumours, the Haas camp is not the happiest of places right now.
Yeah, and that can affect even the most experienced of drivers. I just hope Jackson gets his act together. He's a promising talent, and he's much better than this.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts.
Today's race certainly had its ups and downs for you, Casper. Are you pleased with that performance?
Yeah, it wasn't easy today. I somehow kept finding myself in the wrong place at the wrong time, so really happy to salvage some points. The safety car gave me a good opportunity to turn things around. Pretty pleased overall, yeah.
Speaking of the safety car, Devin Butler has gone on record calling you lucky to get the result you did. Did luck come into it today?
I'm not going to comment on what Devin has to say, but safety cars change races. It's just one of those things that's going to help you on the day or not. Thankfully, it went our way today.
Teammate Aiden Jackson was forced to retire today. Would you say he's going through a bit of a rough patch?
Well, people have been giving him a bit of a hard time lately, but we all go through these patches from time to time. He's a promising young driver with a lot of talent. He'll come good.
Great. Well, that's everything.
The safety car proved integral for Ackerman as it helped him turn a poor start into an impressive top 10 finish. Well, there we have it. I guess that's another, a bit of a cool down round with no particular amount of action. Just a good race from Ackerman. We got a phone call. Hello?
Ryan?
Cass, are you busy?
Well, actually,
Look, I need you to come to the office. Can you pop by now?
Why? What's going on?
Nothing. Nothing. I'll tell you all about it when you get here.
Can't you just tell me now?
Thanks so much, Casper. Really appreciate it.
Okay, well, I guess we have to go and see what that's all about. Let's see.
Casper,
What's going on?
we need to clear something up. Take a seat.
Clear what up?
Aiden thinks it's his fault that you're retiring.
I'm sorry, Casper. I do respect you. Quite a lot, in fact. And I don't want you to retire. I didn't mean the things that I said. And I want you to know that if you're retiring because of me, I'll...
Will you tell him? This anxiety, it's no good for his performance.
I'm not retiring because of you.
But everyone says...
I'm not retiring because of you. Can I go now?
No. You're going to give him 2 minutes of your time.
Well, Brian, what am I? His therapist?
2 minutes, Casper. That's all.
Everyone said...
Everyone's an idiot. Look, I'm not retiring because of you. I told Brian after Zandvoort. I'm sorry you found out the way you did.
It's tough.
Yeah, can be.
The press. Social media. I don't know. How do you deal with it all?
Listen. There's only a handful of us in the whole world who get to do what we do.
Yeah.
A handful. You deal with it by never forgetting how lucky you are to be here. Understand? Never forget.
Hey, Casper.
Yeah?
Do you ever forget?
Sometimes. Sometimes we all do.
As the 2021 season rolls on, the F1 grid moves to historic Spa-Francorchamps. With Casper Ackermann sustaining his recent run of form, Haas hopes that both of its drivers can maintain this level of performance.
It's Sunday and that means it's race time here in Spa. As the cars are being prepared, let's join them trackside for the start of the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track is a great one for fans of pure speed. The average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles an hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Young superstar Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Norris, Sergio Perez, and Ricciardo, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Sainz, and Lance Stroll, Tsunoda, Ackermann, Esteban Ocon, and Butler, Jackson, Giovinazzi, Sebastian Vettel, and Pierre Gasly. Russell and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Sorry if you had to turn up the volume for that last cutscene. It was very, very quiet, but didn't want to interfere with the original cutscene. But anyway, we're on to another race now, so no time to really talk about that too much as we get ready to go to the 5 red lights for the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a full race with some rain heading our way towards the end. It's lights out and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix, and we've had a pretty awful start as we head down towards the first corner. We're just going to try and find some space here around the outside. We've got a fairly lowly starting position. It feels like there's a lot of cars in front of us, so we've got some work to do. Currently sitting in position 12. If we want to score some decent points, we need to do some amount of overtaking. But I imagine that won't be too difficult. Spa's always been a track I very much enjoy, so I think this will be a very fun challenge. So let's see how this goes, and stop staring at a pause menu. We continue on then and catch up to Yuki Tsunoda around the outside of understeery right-hander. We might grab a couple more spots here. Another 1, 2, and maybe a third as we get up the inside of the Ferrari there and get ahead of Carlos Sainz. Lance Stroll was the other that we overtook. So 3 for the price of 1 there through understeery right-hander, and we made all those moves stick and got ourselves up and into 9th position. So that's great stuff at the start of this one already into the points. Let's see what we can do through the rest of it. We're sitting now on the back of Fernando Alonso in the Alpine. We're going to try and go around the outside of Stavolo. It's not an orthodox place to go for a move, but we seem to have some very good pace in the early phases, so we're going to use it and make that overtake work. And next up is the other Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, who is putting pressure on Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren as we get up on the curve there on the inside. Let's see if we can do anything here on Charles Leclerc. Can we switch to the inside and make the move on the Ferrari? We get there, and we'll get clear through the left-hander and make the move through the final few corners and get ahead of Charles Leclerc.
Rain in a couple of laps, Casper. Repeat, rain is forecast.
And rain in a few laps time as we just touch the back of Daniel Ricciardo there, and potentially damage our front wing. We have to be a little bit careful, but damage is on reduced for this, so it's never been too much of an issue if you have a few bumps, which I quite like. But anyway, we continue on, and we'll see if we can maybe get some slipstream from Ricciardo. No DRS, of course. Only a few laps into this race. That's not going to be enabled for a while as we get up the inside, and we'll make sure we cover that off through the next right-hander, and we get ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. We move on again and catch up to Sergio Perez, who is being held up by Lando Norris, and we'll see if we can make a move on the 2 of them here as we head towards Stavolo up the inside of Sergio Perez, and we make the move on the Red Bull driver now behind Lando Norris as we try and keep the car pointing in the right direction, and now sitting in the slipstream of the McLaren. Let's see if we can do anything as we head towards the bus stop. We have a really great run here, so I think we might be able to do it as we are closing up to the back of Lando Norris, hitting top speed and leveling out a little bit. We'll be able to get up the inside though, and be able to just get the nose in enough for Norris to see us coming, and we make the move on Lando and make our way up and into 4th position as things stand.
Conditions aren't improving. It's your choice as to whether you want to fit the wets next time you come in.
And soon it will be time to come in for the intermediate compound tyres, so let's move on.
Confirming that we'll be fitting the intermediate tyres.
And now it is time to come in for the intermediate tyres. Not long after we just left off, you can see how much water's on the track. You can hardly even make it into the pit lane. Trying to drive in a straight line is difficult enough, but we eventually get there, and we'll be fitting those intermediate compound tyres, much better suited to these conditions. So how quickly this rain has come down, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a full wet some point soon. But anyway, we get these slick tyres off, get the grooved ones on, and exit the pit lane right behind Lewis Hamilton. So we have gained a huge amount of time on the Mercedes driver, and I don't imagine we'll be trying to make an overtake on him anytime soon, but that is a sign that we may jump some people, because there has been a huge issue for some of them. Not everyone has come into the pit, so some people are sticking it out on track on the slick tyres.
You're in the top 10 now. Keep it
and
up.
They are not suited.
We're in 10th. 10th position. Hamilton ahead. Our gap to the car in front is 5.0 seconds. They're on fresh inters. Perez is behind you. Our gap
Alright, forget about
is
Jeff. We're going around the outside of
1.3
Lewis Hamilton,
seconds. They're on fresh
through
inters.
Malmedy,
Our
and now
gap
on the back
to
of George
first
Russell, who's
place
on the
is
slick tyres. We're going to try and get to the inside
seconds.
line. Hamilton down the inside. We're 3
No
wide,
more scheduled
and
pit
we'll just
stops.
about
8
get ahead
laps to go.
of both of them and make that move. But that was very, very tense there as we get Giovinazzi as well. We'll have a quick look at the replay of that, and you can see we just had such a run on Russell. We had nowhere to go but to the inside. Hamilton was still there fighting away with us, and we managed to get both of them as Hamilton was caught up on the apex and he couldn't get past Giovinazzi, who had absolutely no momentum on those slick tyres that do not grip in the wet conditions. Right now I was actually trying to look at the pit stop strategy to show you who has and hasn't stopped, but for some reason that doesn't show up in Breaking Point races, the strategy, probably because the scenarios that probably doesn't really work properly on the menu screens. But anyway, that's a shame. But I think the point is that I think Bottas is effectively leading from Verstappen, then myself at this point, and everyone else who is ahead of us are still on the slick tyres. So let's see how this goes. We catch up to Sebastian Vettel, who is on the slick compound tyres, and we'll try and find a way past him to the inside, and we'll just about slide on through there, through that right-hander, which I have forgotten the name of, as we head along to Blanchimont. And yeah, you can see just how much time the slick tyre runners at the moment are losing. We're catching up now to Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, and we're going to go for the move up the inside, just about there, as we're almost out of control there as well, trying to stay avoiding action.
A clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain.
As the rain will soon be clearing up, we find our way back into our effective position, which is actually second. I thought Bottas was in the lead. Apparently I completely misinterpreted that. That pass on Hamilton was
You're
for
sat
position.
in P2. Verstappen is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 5.9 seconds. They're on fresh inters. Hamilton is behind you. Okay, the gap behind is 1.7 seconds. They're on fresh inters. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. 7 laps to go.
So yeah, I'm not sure what the Bottas strategy
The gap
was.
behind us is 1.8 seconds.
So yeah, that's an interesting one. I'll have to go back and see what Bottas was doing there, but yeah, I completely misread that scenario. But anyway, you can see now Verstappen in the lead from myself, and then Lewis Hamilton, Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc rounding out to the top 5. Let's push on and see what else we can do in this race.
Second place, you're in second place. Verstappen ahead. Gap to car in front is 5.4 seconds.
But as we continue on, you can see Verstappen is heading into the pit lane. It's going to give us the race lead here, as Verstappen is making a stop, looking on the map. No one else is at the moment from the top group, so Verstappen taking a risk, and he is actually going on to go to the wet compound tyres, the full wets. So the Red Bull team clearly think that they are the way to go.
Leading the pack, P1. Hamilton is behind you. Our gap behind is 3.8 seconds.
We move on just a little bit later, and you can see everyone else has made the switch to the wet compound tyres, but we're going to try and hold it out on the intermediates, as the rain will be drying up soon, and we'll see what that can do for us. And that gamble pays off, because you can see at the end of the race now the conditions have dried up significantly, and we have enough time for a victory donut at the final corner before anyone else catches up to us. And we're going to come across the line here at Spa to win the Belgian Grand Prix.
Absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant result. Well done.
Another top 5 finish for Haas. Amongst the drama ants, they've been quietly racking up some good points.
Yeah, it's caught me off guard a little bit actually. When you look at the table, you realise they're not doing as badly as you might think.
Haas have been nothing if not entertaining this season, for good or bad. It'll be interesting to see how they fare by the end of the season. The quality and fantastic result of the Haas team will have been noticed by everyone else out there today. You can see why everyone's taking them so seriously. These drivers will be hot property by the end of the season.
Despite the difficult conditions, Casper Akkerman continued to impress at the Belgian Grand Prix as he achieved another top 5 finish.
All I'm saying is that the team are back in the mix this season. That's how good you've done.
Yeah.
You're ending your career on a high just like you wanted. You really couldn't ask for much better. You want one?
Hmm?
What's wrong?
Nothing. What? Nothing. I'm fine.
You haven't driven like this in ages. You're out there having a great time. You're raking in the points, but you're doing your moody face.
I'm not doing my moody face. Stop that.
Like this.
Okay. It's Aiden.
What about him?
Well, he's still not right. He's moping around, anxious, apologetic. I think he's struggling.
I thought you were going to ignore him.
Yeah, but he's just a kid. He needs support.
From you?
So, how many races have I got left?
What's this all about, Cass?
Let's say that I've got 3 or 4 months left in F1. What if...
Go on.
Nah, forget it.
No, what?
You laugh at me.
Promise not to.
It just sounds so stupid.
What does?
What if I can...
Oh my God.
What?
You've gone soft, haven't you?
I knew you'd make fun of me.
You want to make the F1 world a better place before you retire. You want to help the team, help Aiden, your own career be damned.
And what if I did?
So Casper Akkerman does have a heart after all. I'll alert the media.
Look, Zoe, I'm serious. What if I did?
What could you do?
Well, Ferrari have a seat coming up next season. Some say they might even sign him. That is his dream.
And you think you could help?
I honestly don't know.
Well, I think that is going to do it for this episode. It's been over half an hour long now, so I think that is plenty of episode length thing. Yep, sure, we'll go with that. So, yes, that's where we're going to leave it off for today, and we'll continue this. We've probably only got 1 or 2 episodes left, I would imagine, in this series, so... yeah, that will be coming to an end very, very shortly, but still plenty of action left to play out, I am sure, so looking forward to that. So thanks so much for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you next time for another episode of Breaking Point. Thank you, and goodbye.